my name is Sunny Wismer, and I will be your Master of Ceremonies this evening. I am a senior in Community, Environment, and Planning here at UW and a former Campus Sustainability Fund and Environmental Stewardship Committee member. The Sustainability Summit happens to be the highlight of this very first Sustainability Festival at the University of Washington. We have a lot to celebrate, and all this week, festival partners across campus are hosting their own events and activities to help celebrate sustainability at this university. The summit is a particularly valuable event because it brings together students, faculty, and staff from across campus who are working on sustainability to discuss, learn about, and make plans for future efforts around sustainability here at UW. It always sparks conversation. It's also a chance to look toward the future to how we as a university and as individuals can have a greater impact on our world. I would like to once again start off this evening's portion by thanking our many sponsors who you will see on the event program and on the PowerPoint behind me. These sponsors include Boeing, UW Surplus, Artisan Electric, EnviroStars, Waste Management, UW Housing and Food Services, UW Recycling, Keeney's Office Supply, and UW Creative Communications. We would also like to thank the UW Foster School of Business, UW Athletics, and the Campus Sustainability Fund for providing support for the video of the summit that will be aired on UW TV. We are especially pleased that Boeing has sponsored this festival and the summit this year at our highest sponsor level, the Rainier level. So without no further ado, I would like to invite Jeannie Yu, Director of Environmental Performance for Boeing Commercial Airplanes, to the podium to provide a few remarks. Thank you.
Good evening, and thank you, Sunny, for the introduction. It's my honor to be here with all of you tonight. Boeing is a longtime supporter of the University of Washington, and we have a lot of Husky fans at Boeing. And so I'm really glad to be here to be a sponsor of the Sustainability Week here at UW, and then to be the Rainier sponsor. Tonight you'll hear from Karen Baebler, your Assistant Director of Athletics for Sports Operations, and this afternoon we heard from astute deans from your university as well as students on solving the grand challenge, and it was very interesting dialogue, and I was happy to be here to listen and learn from folks and get new perspectives, so it was really good. Sustainability really is a grand challenge, and in many ways sustainability is something as a grand challenge that we want to go after a win, right? So it's kind of like being on a sports team. It's going to take all of us working together towards a common goal to address something as challenging as sustainability. And each of us has a really important role to play. So it's been fun to see all the displays out in the Commons area and to see what everybody is doing to bring their expertise or their enthusiasm and inspiration to the world of sustainability solutions. As far as in the sports world, and carrying on with that analogy, and with the stadium, you know, there are people throughout the stadium and the sports team, from the coach to the CEO, who set the tone for the organization, but all those people and employees behind the scenes who make it happen. And it takes everyone, like Karen here with her challenge, to figure out how to create a real sustainable stadium for the sports team. Your new stadium is a great example of what can happen when we leverage the best of everyone. And projects of this happen really when people have focus. They don't happen in a vacuum. From the construction of the stadium itself to the materials that you used, and I understand your concession recycling and composting practices will be new and novel. I know how hard that is. We've been trying to get composting in our cafeterias at Boeing for a number of years, and we're finally there, and so we're real excited about it, but it's harder than you think. I love how you've designed in environmental considerations and reached out to others in the community in your region to help make the vision possible and make it better for the community overall. By working together, you also changed the game and set the bar higher for everyone. I understand the stadium was named one of the 10 collegiate game changers by the Natural Resources Defense Council. I say, wow, okay? Congratulations, because that's an amazing accomplishment. We try to apply the same approach at Boeing, so I know it isn't easy. It's difficult. You have to keep your eye on the prize. Through our Design for Environment philosophy, we work every day to embed environmental improvements throughout the life cycle. That's from manufacturing and how we manufacture our products and where we manufacture it. We've also raised the bar in all our manufacturing operations to be Silver LEED or better as we build our new construction. And as I explained earlier, in our earlier session, we also have programs like the Eco Demonstrator program, where we're trying to do flight test airplanes to advance technologies faster and accelerate them to new products for better environmental performance on our aircraft. So we're real excited about being part of a community of folks really moving towards the sustainability challenge by taking a lot of action. The result of these actions really providing a win-win. I think they benefit business as well as our communities and as well as the earth and the planet we share. So walking around and seeing these exhibits is really exciting to me. It's clear to me that UW is really aligned to take the first steps on that sustainability path. And I'm real excited to hear about Karen and how she got there and how she met all the challenges and inspire all of us to continue the path on sustainability. Thank you.
And now I have the pleasure of introducing Karen Baebler from UW Athletics herself, who will present our Husky Highlight Keynote. Thank you. Let's give her a warm welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for the nice words, Jeannie. It's great to hear. First of all, I'd like to say that I was told I could bring some special guests if I would like to, so I've brought a couple. The first one is Eco. And Eco is our mascot for our Twitter page. When you get tweet, Eco will tweet back. And he also tweets about all the events and things that we're doing in the athletic department. He was the brainstorm of our committee and students. And so he's our new addition to our Husky family. So welcome, Eco. I'm gonna put Eco right here. And then we also have the live mascot for UW Athletics, and that is Dubs. And Dubs is heading down right now. Dubs is a great ambassador for Husky Athletics. Dubs, can I get a high five?
Oh.
Can I get a high five?
There we go.
Now try. High five? Yeah.
Oh, yes.
So anyway, these guys are, way more fun and cuter than I am, and they're great ways to get people involved in what we're doing now. Thank you, Dubs and handlers. The first half of my presentation tonight is kind of about the past 4 years and what we've done the past 4 years and what's happened with the stadium. And then the second half addresses more the playing like a team, and I think what a lot of the folks have been talking about this evening is how we've connected with the community within the university and outside the university to forward sustainability in the athletic department. I also want to say that it's a little daunting to hear all these experts and scientists up here earlier. I am certainly not an expert in sustainability. There's nothing in my job description that says sustainability, so everything that I've learned it pretty much in the last 4 years. So just keep that in mind. I'm not the expert, and we certainly don't have anyone in the athletic department who is an expert. So the Seahawks are great, Mariners are great, love them. They're one team and they have one facility. At the University of Washington, we have 22 teams, we have 9 facilities, and 3 of them office buildings. We have a tennis center that runs from 8 o'clock in the morning until 10 o'clock at night. We have 650 athletes, and they also happen to be students. And we're also under the umbrella of this larger organization that is a university and is the state of Washington. So that provides both some unique opportunities and some unique challenges for us. It's a little easier for those professional teams that, they just have those 6 or 8 games a year that they have, and they can go forward with that. So I'm going to talk a little bit about our path over the last 4 years. For me, the path started with a casual conversation with one of our senior administrators in the athletic department. Our athletic director had been talking about the potential of renovating the stadium, and with that, he wanted to pursue LEED certification. Well, nobody in the athletic department knew what LEED certification was. So I had a little bit of an idea what LEED certification was, and 2 minutes into the conversation, I was asked if I would start a sustainability program within the athletic department. and I volunteered to do that. And I've been very happy to, and it's been a great success over the last 4 years. So I started off knowing that I couldn't do this by myself, and I certainly wasn't an expert. So I started off by putting together a committee. And luckily in athletics, we have a marketing department, we have a public relations department, we have a facilities crew. We've got all these people with great expertise. Also on campus, we have the Office of Sustainability, and we have the Recycling and Waste Management on campus, and folks from those departments are on our committee as well. And we started this committee in June of 2010. We had a football game in August of 2010, and we had to figure out what we were going to do in time for football season. So the committee worked really hard, and within less than 2 months, we had a logo. We had a plan to do what we called a Green Minute, where our fans were told to recycle, and our announcer announced it during the game, and our ushers went through the crowd and collected plastic bottles from our fans at football games. And that was our start in 2010. In 2011, we had an opportunity. That's when we first started talking about renovating the stadium. And it was a blessing that we partnered, it was a thoughtful blessing, that we partnered with 360 Architects and Turner Construction Company. And both of those companies are very committed to sustainable practices and processes. So I love this picture of the stadium too, because really it's the vision, right? It's the vision before you get there. So some of the practices, 95% of the construction waste was diverted from landfill. We had a rock crushing machine or a concrete crushing machine, and all of the stands, in this picture you can see all the lower stands on the north side are gone. All of that concrete was then crushed and used as fill. So it was never even taken off site to be recycled. It was recycled into the building. And another thing that you'll see in this picture is there's 2 retention ponds that are in the middle of where the field should be. And those were there to keep salmon safe, to filter the water before it went back into Lake Washington. So that was both Turner and UW are salmon safe companies, and obviously we're right on the water. That water just goes directly into Lake Washington. So very important that we take that step. And one of my favorite recycling solutions is this one. So there's 2 of these actually in the stadium. There's one on the northwest porch and one on the southwest. And these are giant W's that are above those entrances. And if you look at them closely on the other side, you'll see that they're actually bleachers that were recycled from the stadium before the renovation. I just thought that was a really creative use of a material to recycle it and reuse it, and very visible one too. One of my favorites. Additionally, within the project, the lighting is now, most of it is motion censored. We have a system in place that we can monitor the energy that's used in various places and look at where our energy usage is. We also have low-flow toilets. That's not even on here. They built the suites to be open air, or at least have windows that will open to reduce the costs associated with energy and reduce the air conditioning that's needed. So very thoughtful in the design process and in the construction process. I don't know what our energy performance is yet. I still haven't seen it, but I'm waiting to see it. And then, if anybody been to a game before the renovation? A couple people here. So on the south side, if you remember, we had those spiral staircases that went up, and that's how people got to their seats on the south side. And our population isn't the youngest population at our football games, so a lot of our fans needed to be assisted, and we used gas golf carts to get people up to the upper decks. Also, during the week, within the stadium was a parking lot. And all of our concession stands and everything else in the stadium were serviced by trucks, by gas trucks. So when the stadium was renovated, the elevators were put in, the spirals were taken out, and we no longer have any gas vehicles in the stadium. There are electric, mostly pallet jacks that run around within the stadium. And then all of the concession stands are now serviced with carts or pallet jacks, and we have a recycling and a composting station on site, which we didn't in the past. The other thing we have on site as well is a kitchen. So there was no kitchen there before for the concessionaire, and all of the food had to be made off-site and then transported to the stadium. So that was what was happening with the construction process. The construction process was about 18 months. During that time, we played our games at CenturyLink Field, which was a blessing in disguise too, because they already had a two-stream waste system in place, but I'll talk about that a little bit later. So during that time, our committee got together and we focused, we really, I think, did a good job of taking this opportunity, and we focused on 4 areas. Our groups were split into 4 smaller groups, one that focused on infrastructure, what the stadium was going to look like, how it was going to work, where the garbage cans were going to be placed or not placed. We had one that looked at measuring and reporting. What were our diversion rates? What was our energy use previously, and what do we want it to be? We had one group that looked at fan engagement. How are we going to get our fans involved in what we're doing? And then we had another group that looked at our stakeholder engagement. So Aramark, our concessionaire, being a stakeholder, IMG, who's our sponsorship group, being a stakeholder, and others as well. So we looked, I don't know if you can see all of these, but we looked at various things. Each group picked 5 or 6 things. Our outside food policy, which we did not change. People still can bring food from the outside into the stadium. We looked at doing a stadium Greenland, which didn't happen, but we did add sponsors once we moved back into the stadium. And the biggest thing that happened when we moved back into the stadium after construction was we moved to a 2-stream system. And this is something that the Mariners have in place and the Seahawks have in place at CenturyLink Field. And that year of our fans being at CenturyLink Field, I think, was really a positive thing because they got used to it. They got used to it in that year. So if fans do have garbage, we just ask that they leave it at their seats, and then our crews will come in after the game and pick it up. But it really has been pretty seamless that most of our fans, they must live in Seattle because they understand that there's compost and recycling, and if there's no garbage, it doesn't seem to faze them. So nearly all of our concessions are, materials are compostable. There's a few things that we're still working on, but much like athletics, you know, the harder you work, the harder it is to get to that next level. So we're still working on some of those smaller things like candy wrappers and straw holders, but we're getting closer and closer all the time. So this is a chart of our waste from 2005 to 2013. And keep in mind that there's nearly 100 tons of waste that is produced in the stadium in a year over the course of a football stadium or football season. So in 2005, almost 82% of what was hauled out of the stadium was garbage, went to landfill. And the rest was recycled. We didn't compost at that point. And then you fast forward into 2010, when we started the program. Now we're composting that year. Now our garbage is down to about 47%. And then we're recycling and composting more than we have garbage. And 2013, we're at about 32% garbage, and then the greatest percentage is compost. So about a little less than 70%, 69% or so of all the waste in the stadium is diverted from landfill. Our goal this year is 75%, and we're not quite there, where I think we're now at about 72%, 73%, but even if we don't reach our goal, I'm still happy that we set that bar high, so we can, even if we get close, then we've got somewhere to push for next year. And I have kind of just gone through this 4 years and you know, just push forward. And when I look at this, I think, well, that's just what we've done. But when I talk to other colleges and universities around the country, they're amazed by this. We're considered a leader in collegiate athletics in waste diversion, stadium waste diversion. Most places don't have composting at all. I only know of one other. There might be a couple more, but that actually have a two-stream system. So we're definitely the leader in this in the country. So that's kind of where we were in the last few years in the stadium construction. And then now I want to kind of shift gears and talk a little bit about how we were able to get there. And I think we're very lucky to be a university in Seattle that is committed to sustainable practices, committed to being sustainable. Our community as a whole, both the Seahawks and the Mariners are fantastic at waste diversion and energy conservation. They both do a great job, and so they're a great model for us. The Green Sports Alliance is based in Portland and has a presence here, and we were one of the first universities to join the Green Sports Alliance. It started as mostly professional teams in all sports, and now there's 40-plus college teams that are members as well. So, they're starting to bring in the college teams, and it's just been a really great resource for us. If we are thinking about things that we want to do or you know, share best practices with other folks, they've been a really great partner for us. All right, we can't go on without talking about our campus partners. You might recognize some of the people in this photo. But the Office of Sustainability has been a great partner for us and has helped us all through the process of figuring out where we're going next and how to get there. These folks are volunteers at a football game, and we have two programs at football games. One is a group of volunteers that goes in the stadium and the zone, which is kind of a party area, and educates our fans on what is recyclable and what is compostable. And then we have the Blue Bag group, which is a group that goes in the parking lots and hands out blue recycling bags to the people in the parking lot so they can recycle things in the parking lots as well. Recycling and solid waste, Emily Newcomer has been a great partner for us there. They give us all the data on what we haul away, and she's always telling me if there's an issue. You know, we don't seem to be having as much compost at this point. You know, why is that? Why do we think that is? College for the Environment has been a great partner for us. And I'll talk a little bit more about that when I talk about students and student groups too. We have student groups that work for us and that are involved with what we're doing in athletics. So with the College for the Environment, we have had, I think it's 7 interns now that have come to work in the athletic department. And what they've done for us is really decided by them. Some of them have worked on social media for us. Our current intern is working with Dubs and our Facebook page, and just started an Instagram as well. So I haven't even seen the Instagram yet, but I know she just started that. We have clubs that help with our Blue Bag groups, and we have students that are on our sustainability committee as well. We also, our student athletes are involved. Usually there's 1 or 2 within student leadership, but they have what they call the Dog Bowl. And the Dog Bowl is a competition between the teams to see who can get the most points, and whoever wins at the end gets a little party. So they can earn points for academics, they can earn points for community service, and they have now a section where they can earn points for sustainable practices. So if they add composting in their locker room, they get points for that. If they invite people on their Facebook page to come to their green game, they can get points for that. So it's a way to keep them involved, and that was their decision as a group to add that to the Dog Bowl. The The College for the Environment also did a class with us, which was really fun. All the students, there were 5 different groups that did projects related to athletics, and very, very fun. I hope we do it again. We did that with Megan Horst. And I mentioned our stakeholders earlier. You know, Aramark has been a really good partner for us. They're our concessionaire, and they are the ones that make sure that we have compostable materials. They're the ones that are, you know, throwing out the most waste in the stadium. So they've really been on board with us. And IMG as well, they're our multimedia partner, and work with sponsorships. And we have had several sponsors that we've worked with. Coke and Nissan are 2 of our current sponsors, and Cedar Grove and Lowe's are some previous sponsors. But if anyone has been to a basketball game or a football game, there's a video that plays on the big screen, and it's with the cheerleaders, and I think Dubs might be in it too when they're in the car, and they're drinking Coke, and they're reminding people to throw their garbage in the right place. And then we've gotten a lot of recognition as a university and as an athletic department. I actually really, really like the ISCN Excellence Integration Award, because I feel like as an athletic department we're part of that. It's something that, you know, we've contributed to the university. We've been featured in Horizon Airlines magazine, and Jeannie mentioned the Game Changer report. And sometimes I feel like it's a little overwhelming to get all that recognition when sometimes it doesn't feel like we're doing that much. But as long as we're keeping the ball rolling, we're keeping people interested, it's getting the word out there about what we're doing. You know, I've come to accept that that's part of the process. And I also realize that not everybody is doing what we're doing, and if that can help them maybe to get to that point, then we'll take all the recognition we can get.
Karen, thank you so much. It's been
you.
such a pleasure hearing from you tonight.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you again, everyone, for joining us this afternoon and this evening. I hope you were all inspired by our program and made some meaningful connections tonight and are ready to go out and make the changes you see fit to make a more positive, inclusive, and sustainable community here at this university. I would like to close tonight by repeating the remarks President Young shared at his recent annual President's Address. Together, boundless and undaunted, we go forward for a world of good. Good night, everyone.